Bonjour everyone. Today we're going to be talking about our brains for our social and emotional lesson. So do you guys know where your brain is at? Yep, your brain is right up here and it's protected by this big bone called your skull. The skull is a big hard bone that keeps your little squishy brain safe. So we're going to be talking about the different parts of the brain and what they do. So we're going to be talking about things like the prefrontal cortex and the medulla oblongata, the amygdala, there we go, the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. That's the two things we're going to be talking about today. So before we begin, let's start off with our breathing like we do every lesson. So when you hear the chime, we're going to stop and breathe. Today, we are going to practice our superhero breathing. So we're going to grab that ball of energy, good energy, bring it towards us, breathe in, and then fly like a superhero. We're going to do that 3 times, okay? Ready? There we go. So our bodies are nice and calm. Let's check to make sure our bodies are ready for learning. Gonna wabandun. Our eyes are watching. Bisan done. Our ears are listening. Bazanian. Our voices are off. Gego duknakin gigu. Our hands are to ourselves. And if we are doing all of that, then our bodies should be bizanabin. Our bodies should be nice and calm. All right. So now our bodies are calm. We've done our breathing. All right. So we are going to do the parts of the brain that talk about, we're going to become brain scientists today. So we're going to talk about what your brain, where it is and what it does. So the brain has many important jobs, and one of its jobs is to keep us safe, depending if we're having comfortable or uncomfortable feelings. So we talked about those kind of feelings last time. Uncomfortable feelings for like anger, sadness, scared. Comfortable feelings might be happy, excited, things that make us safe. Uncomfortable feelings are things that may not have our bodies safe. So we're going to talk about unsafe or comfortable and uncomfortable feelings and how that relates to the different parts of our brain. So we're going to start by looking at this picture of your brain. That's what it looks like inside your skull. So right here is the prefrontal cortex, right in the front there. So point to your forehead, right here. This is where your prefrontal cortex is. Right there, right in the front. And that is the thinking part of our brain. This is the part of our brain that helps us make good decisions and learn things at school, do things like paying attention. Some people call the prefrontal cortex the wise owl. So I want you to say that with me, prefrontal cortex. All right, now your turn. All right, now I want you to whisper it, prefrontal cortex. Nice job, that's a big word, isn't it? Being a brain scientist means that we're learning lots of big words. So next part we're going to learn is right here. You see this little tiny piece right here? Amygdala? It's that little tiny piece right in the middle there. That's your amygdala. And your amygdala is the emotion center of your brain. That's where all the emotions are. There's that little dot. This is the part of the brain that keeps us safe. Some people call the amygdala the guard dog. If we are in danger, the amygdala tells our body to run fast. The amygdala also is a blocker. If we are feeling comfortable feelings like happy, the information that comes into our brain goes into the prefrontal cortex. But if we're feeling uncomfortable, like angry, the amygdala blocks that information from being sent to the prefrontal cortex. This is why we may not always make good choices, like hitting when our body is angry. So let's try that. So we're going to say this word, amygdala. Ready? Amygdala. Your turn. Now we're going to whisper it, amygdala. Nice job. So one way to help our body if we're feeling uncomfortable feelings, you guys remember how we can do that? Yep, we can open up our toolbox and we can use one of our breathing strategies. And that can help calm down our amygdala and move us into the prefrontal cortex, where our comfortable feelings and where our thinking brain is. If your amygdala is really high, that means you're in those uncomfortable feelings. So I'm going to show you how we can use our hands to show how we're feeling. So I have my hand here, and we're going to use called a hand-brain model. I'm going to make a brain model with my hands. So amygdala is your thumb. You're going to tuck that thumb right in the middle. And then remember that amygdala is for uncomfortable feelings. That is where if you're angry, you might lash out, you might hit, you might not have control of those feelings and actions. But this part is what protects our brain, the prefrontal cortex. So that protects our amygdala. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is where all of our good feelings happen. So the amygdala is the emotion center of the brain. This is the part of the brain that keeps us safe, like the guard dog. And then the prefrontal cortex is the wise owl. That's where our thinking brain is. So if we have our brain like this, our amygdala is inside of our prefrontal cortex. This is what our brain looks like when it's ready to learn, when it's ready to listen, when it has a calm body. But this is what happens when we are feeling uncomfortable and the messages are not getting to the thinking part of our brain. When we're feeling so angry that we have a hard time stopping and thinking, we might flip our lid. And that's what it's called when we feel so angry or sad, where we can't control it, where the strong feelings are too much. We call that flipping your lid, because we're not thinking with our prefrontal cortex anymore. We're starting to think with our amygdala. And that triggers our fight, flight, or freeze response. So if we're feeling angry and we can't control it, we flip our lids and I might hit somebody, even though I know that's not okay, because I'm having a hard time controlling my emotions because my lid is flipped. All right, so I'm going to show you guys another thing here. When we are feeling angry or sad, or when we have those strong feelings, sometimes our feelings are like a jar. We have all these feelings inside and in our body, and they're all mixed up. And so I'm going to show you an example of ways that we can calm our bodies and what that might look like.
Sometimes we can feel pretty mixed up. It can be hard to pay attention. It can be hard to have fun with so much stirred up inside. Let's see if focusing on our breathing can help settle our swirling thoughts, our mixed up emotions. Rest back in your chair or settle into a comfortable seat on the floor. Now imagine a glass jar. This jar is full of water and glitter. Let the glitter be your thoughts and emotions. And imagine that for the moment, those thoughts and emotions are pretty mixed up, swirling around and around. Have you ever felt like this? Swirling on the inside. Let's try to settle.
So this is what it might look like inside your body if you flipped your lid. All those emotions might be swirling inside you, and you don't really have control of them. They're just going everywhere. That's what happens when we flip our lid.
Those swirling thoughts and emotions with long, slow out breaths. First, gently place your hands on your belly. Try to notice your muscles working to help bring air in and move air out of your body. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Good. Now check in with the swirling? Are those thoughts and emotions still so mixed up? Let's try again. Breathe in and make your exhale longer than usual. Those swirling thoughts are starting to settle. Keep your hands on your belly for another breath. Inhale and slowly exhale. Look, things aren't swirling around as much. Try a couple breaths, each at our own pace. Hands on your belly. Breathe in. Make a long out breath, easy and calm. A couple more. Breathe. The swirling has slowed down, maybe even stopped. The thoughts and emotions are still there, but they've settled. Sometimes you'll notice swirling on the inside of you. Long, slow out breaths might help you calm things down. Place your hands in your lap. Close your eyes if you'd like. Check in on your own jar. Swirling or settling. Maybe you notice slowing down. Maybe not. That's okay. Just notice for you and breathe.
So at the beginning, the jar had all that stuff swirling inside of us. Like all the emotions inside of us might be swirling around, especially if we're having really strong feelings. And one way that they helped control those strong feelings, they flipped their lid, but one way that they're keeping their emotions in check is by breathing. Whenever they breathe, those strong emotions become smaller and smaller until their thinking brain, their prefrontal cortex, is ready. So there's the lid. They still have their lid flipped, and then it's calm. The feelings inside of us aren't swirling anymore. Our bodies feel at peace. So today, you guys learned how to be brain scientists and learn what the amygdala does, which is our emotion center, and the guard dog, and our prefrontal cortex, our learning brain. And we learned what happens when we flip our lid and how we can calm down from that. You noticed when they did the swirling video, they did not take just one breath. They took a lot of breaths to help calm them down. So today, I got a challenge for you. If you have water, glitter, and a water bottle at home, you can try this activity. You fill up your water bottle and leave about that much air at the top. Then you're gonna put in glitter and then put the lid on tight and shake it up. And then you'll have your own swirling bottle. So for now, okay, go have a min-min a while.